So here I am with the official hashtag Joyant. I have no idea how long I'm going to do the hashtag Joyant. I was actually on Twitter and I hashtag Joyant and there is none. So it's not even trending. I don't know why I keep saying that. So perhaps sometime during the next few days, I'll get that out of my mind. It's just now coming out naturally, like vocal muscle memory. I got to stop doing that. So anyway, guys, let me say hi to all my good friends out there in the trading universe, or any universe for that matter. Welcome to another video. Now we're going to do something completely different here. I'm going to experiment. Now the length of this experiment obviously depends on the participation from you and how you enjoy it. Now, obviously I'm going through videos regularly here talking about the market and a couple of setups. But I'd like to try something different. I'd like to begin the week by focusing on one stock, like the stock of the week. One stock that I really think is poised to have a great week with a great risk versus reward setup, and just kind of focus on that one and see how this trade works out for the remainder of the week. Now these could be great swing trades for you guys out there. They have great standard just risk versus reward, where we're talking about taking a minimal amount of risk here and positioning ourselves properly on a chart to get an incredible amount of reward. And those are the kind I want to look at based on my strategy. So go ahead, give me your feedback. Let me know what you guys are trading out there. Let me know how you like this video. And if it's good, I'll continue to just publish one a week here at the very beginning on a Monday of the stock of the week. So what better way to just kind of roll in this inaugural video? I mean, there's a lot of stocks out there in the world, right? We got a lot to choose from. I mean, we've had some legendary ones. Now, you know, we once had King Baba. Well, how could we not start this out with the prince himself, Prince ROKU? That's right. I'm going to go first one, Prince ROKU here. And I tell you why, because ROKU is actually consolidating very nicely here. So I'm going to get out the old magic pen and I'm going to do my little drawings like I'm a sports telecaster. So there's going to be a lot of charts that look like this because many of these moved in conjunction with the NASDAQ, which has been a focal point of the last few stock market mutterings and daily videos. So there's probably, you're going to need a little boost out of the NASDAQ overall, which I still stand firm on what I said. I do believe you get that. We've talked about that in the last couple of videos. So if you guys want to know why I feel that it's just a regular old pullback, go ahead and watch a couple of the other videos. So let's go ahead and look at ROKU here. We got the initial pullback. I mean, you go back here. Let me just zero out on this chart a little bit more so you guys can see it. This thing is a monster. I know it's up an awful lot, and sometimes I just have to just take a big and just look at this. I remember trading this thing when it was in the 35s and 40s, and to look at it now at 486, sometime or 1.486, just sometimes makes me shake my head. I'm like, wow, man, let me tell you. But I really like the way this one looks here. We'll open it up here just a little bit bigger so everyone can see it. You have a nice pullback coming from recent highs. Much of this is due to the overall growth stock correction, if you want to call it a growth stock, NASDAQ tech correction, call it whatever you want. But these high beta names were specifically hit, and that's understandable. Again, this was once a $100 stock, $200 stock. I remember featuring this, say, I believe it's going to go to 300, and look at it, it almost hits 5. So we got a nice pullback here, and this was pretty close to the support from about a month ago. So you can see it's pretty well defined. So when you guys are out there, look, I've said this before, you can throw all the fancy indicators that you want in on any chart. There's only one indicator to me that stands alone and is the most important, and that's support and resistance, because everything itself, that's the foundation of everything that you trade. You trade flag patterns, it's based on support and resistance. You trade contrarian reversal patterns, it's based on support and resistance. Everything begins with that support and resistance as your base. And to me, I've said before, it's the most purest form of trading because it will clearly define where there are buyers and where there are sellers present at any time frame, and that would help you, the trader, maximize, with both stops and targets, and we'll show you. So you have a good base here, and it's defended that well. Now, over the last 8-9 sessions here, you haven't gotten a lot of attention or action in ROKU. So when you see consolidation like this, what does this really mean? Now, there's a bunch of different translations for this. One could be the translation that is just taking a breather, like the staircase where you're walking up and you have a platform and you move up. And each one of these is where you get a chance to catch your breath as you're walking up the staircase. That's why they're made that way. It could be a form of indecision where the market's confused and doesn't know how to price this, or there's just not momentum, or there's not interest, or anything like that. So when you're inside of this consolidation, the trade itself is like a fork in the road. It could go either way. It could either break above this box. So let's just kind of look at this box that we're living in right here, this consolidation, because none of this stuff back here doesn't mean anything. If we look at this right now, it could go either way. We could either move above this area or we can move below this area. And at some point throughout the course of our lifetimes, that's exactly what's going to happen. It will in fact move outside of that range. Now for me personally, I prefer to see it show the signs that it wants to move out of that range before I buy it. Because buying it here isn't establishing me a whole lot. I know it's up nicely here today. It's a beginning. It's looking nice, but it still needs a tiny bit more work. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if we kind of look here, let's clean this chart up and maybe just open it up a little bit more so you guys can see it. Let's go here. All right, that'll do good. So this last little pivot right here, if we look closer, this is a higher low, which means it's a little bit higher than the previous low. Maybe not substantially, but it's enough for us to show that there's some interest in this stock. Now you just simply have a bunch of up and down days, up and down days. Now this is why I always encourage everyone. If nothing else, this is always a lesson in charting, because you can take your favorite stock and you can look at something like this too. But you take a look at this thing right here. I mean, it's up a lot for today, but what is to say that tomorrow it just doesn't print a red bar, right? Who knows? I mean, it's stuck in this consolidation, and the only way this becomes viable is we need a break of that. So here are one trade that I am looking at, or the next sequence. I'll give you even a wild card trade that you can take. For me, I'm going to need to see a strong move into this area and a break on volume, okay? I'm going to need to see that here for me because I want to see this come out of there with authority. Now, I could pre-run this, and what I'm saying that is maybe go in somewhere here a little bit before that resistance level. The only way I would do that is if I seen an overall broad rally where I started to feel that the NASDAQ and the growth stocks in general as a sector and as a whole unit were moving forward. Other stocks were leading. Strength of the big Momo names were coming back. Money was pouring back into these. That would let me know that the NASDAQ is poised to go back to highs, and this should be lifted up out of it. That's the only way I would like to take that trade, is I want to see it move out of that. Another idea would be as if it came back down and tested either this support one more time or the much more solid support over here and bounced again off of that. That would tell me that we are probably going to hold this level, that the authority of holding that level and defending that level is there. And that's what I would look at. So there's two different ways to take that trade. You can either wait for the breakout here, which I don't like to do in a lot of cases. I don't like to do in a lot of cases because I feel you're chasing a little bit. But in this case, I think with what's happening in the market, it's better to be safe than sorry, or look for an inside day, a nice solid bouncing day, and a really strong close. So we can look at maybe entering somewhere between here and the upper area, okay, on a good press from the NASDAQ. Or the second entry could be down here low. Now, we certainly can make the case for you short sellers if things turn sour and get ugly. If this thing trades underneath of here, it most certainly will probably trade much lower to the next level. And you're going to see that across the board. Now, again, so a lot of this stuff is NASDAQ dependent. So let's talk about targets now. What would we be looking at targets? I always say this. If you're doing the whole technical analysis thing, you should be under the theory that there are no randoms in the market and stocks trade from one level to the next, right? That's what they do. So what is the next level on the chart? I mean, what do we see? Where is the next pivot? Where is the next box? Where is the next level? It's here. Here is the peak of the very next level, which is slightly above 420. 420. So if we just kind of draw this little box right here, we're living in this box. Okay. So if we move into this range, it should make an attempt to get somewhere to the upper shelf of that one And then here's the excess of the other box theory is up here. Okay. So when you guys are out there trading, I like to use this box theory as an example of how to picture in your mind what a stock may look like or work like. So when you're in this, just consider it like an apartment building. Like, let's say, you ran out of gas, and then you go to the first floor and you start knocking on a bunch of doors for some help and nobody's answering. What do? You move up to the second floor and see if anybody's there, or the third floor. You keep moving around until you find what you're looking for. The market does it that way too. So what ROKU is doing right here is it's spending a lot of time inside of this area. It's trying to pull buyers in. It's trying to say, look, I'm cheap here. I'm a buy here. Come get me here. And right now, we're sort of seeing that, but not enough enthusiasm yet to make me feel that we're 100% ready. But I think you're going to see that move in the next couple of days. That's why I'm listing this. Now, if we do, the theory will be once you get up in here, we can start pressing the upper ranges, and maybe you can start working on this. But one thing at a time, to make this quick, is entry is anywhere from roughly 360 or lower. No lower than 320. If you break 320, this has to be a stop. Right here, 320 must be a stop because I feel that you possibly will see much more aggression. I know this is a significant wide range, but the target for us up here is about $430 as a first target. So yes, in these cases, you are giving up a little bit, but the risk versus reward is there. That doesn't mean you're going to get it, okay? It doesn't mean that way, but again, I like the way this ROKU looks. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, that's really an expensive stock. I prefer to trade the $20 or $30 stocks. I understand your position on that, but hear me just for 1 second. To me, it's all relevant. If you're trading a smaller stock, it probably doesn't have a range of $110 to mess around with, right? You're probably not going to get that much alpha out of the trade. In fact, the stock isn't even $110 that you're probably trading. So to me, don't let that discourage you. It's really relevant to the stock that you're trading in the time frame in which you're trading it. And you can easily do this via smaller position sizes because you don't need to go that heavy into a larger stock such as this. But it also has its advantages and disadvantages. The thing to learn here is even if you're not a fan of ROKU and it's a little bit rich for your blood, I do completely understand. Take a look at some other stocks out there that you will find that will have a very similar look to them. Like maybe an AMD. I'm just bringing up someone that has the lower cost. Kind of the same thing. A pretty good pullback from the highs. Not quite a tight of consolidation. But you'll see a lot of stocks that look like that, especially NASDAQ-related stocks. So guys, I'll tell you what. I'm going to end it right there. My stock of the week this week is Prince ROKU himself. Will this prince become a king? We're going to find out. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. As always, if you need my help with any of your trading needs, feel free to reach out to me or join my live trading community below. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care. Trade well. See you then.